So if you've just committed to making a major change and you're in it and you don't know what to do next, I'm glad you're here. And if you're not in that position, you will be someday. So listen anyway. So here's the moment. You've decided to change something in your life and then the world changes underneath you. So you've already left your job or started your business or invested in something new and you've started restructuring your life and your finances. You've made this clear, beautiful, brave decision about where you're going to go, and suddenly all the external conditions shift. Your interest rates move. So clients slow down in their spending and the economy tightens. And the news cycle starts screaming about uncertainty, which makes us feel so nervous. And you're halfway through this major change. You don't quite have the traction yet. And you're thinking, oh my God, have I made a mistake? Should I stop? Should I go back? And it is so incredibly destabilizing because big change needs big courage. And when you've got uncertainty laid on top of that change, it becomes terrifying. So how do we do it? How do we finance it? How do we stay in it? Because this is not just your average messy middle of business. This is where people really can lose their confidence. And we need to make some important decisions while we're here. So let's go into the 5-step plan for navigating change when the environment shifts. Number 1. Let's recheck the logic without emotion. Oh my God, that's so hard to do, right? But the first thing that we do when conditions change is we panic and our emotions take over and we assume that we've made the wrong decision. But if you're smart about this, you can really do something different and ask one question. Does the logic of your decision still stand? Does it still make sense? Did you start this business? Did you leave this marriage? Did you quit this job? Did you start this self-sufficient farm because you saw a genuine opportunity and that opportunity will still exist even when things go bad, even when the economy tightens? What might change is your timeline or your strategy around it, but not the idea itself. Does the idea still have legs? So write down 3 things. Why did you make the decision in the first place? What problem is it actually solving? And does that problem still exist? I know that when I left that business, when I left that job and started that business all those years ago, that nothing would have changed it. I saw limited opportunities for career growth in the industry I was in, and I saw big opportunities to make real impact and real money if I went out on my own. And as it turned out, I was right. Because the thing that we've got to remember is this passes. The next thing is know how long you can operate or do what you're doing before your money runs out. The person with great financial backup is going to be fine. The person with really short time is going to panic. And I've been in this situation. I've been in this situation not that long ago when I started to do this business and I had money tied up in other things, and all of a sudden I had to do 3 very practical things. I had to pause all my non-essential expenses. Did it for 3 months, just paused. I looked for one short-term income lever, the consulting, the extra work, the selling unused assets, and then going back and renegotiating on some of my costs. Because most people never ask. They don't ask for a lower interest rate. They don't ask for relief. They don't ask, can I put my repayments on hold for a while? Those 3 moves alone will extend the amount of time you've got your money for, and those months will create options, but dealing with it up front creates absolute calm. You don't have to be worried about it anymore. You don't have to be sitting there thinking, oh my God, it's all going to fall apart, because you've covered yourself. Next thing, be brutally clear about your cash flow. When things feel unstable financially, clarity beats optimism every single time. You will not be able to manifest yourself out of this because you will be feeling so much scarcity and lack anyway. So understand your minimum monthly living costs, your current monthly income, and your available buffer. If you don't have a buffer, go back to number 2 and look for that short-term income lever again. you need to know exactly where you stand, because uncertainty is terrifying, but it's even more terrifying when it's vague. Once you can see the numbers, you can start making some really smart decisions. You might discover that you've got more time than you think. You might discover you've got less time than you think, but you can act on it now before it's too late. That you just need to generate an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month to stabilize things. And that's not that hard to do. There's always a way. And having that clarity removes any panic associated with and having that clarity around your cash flow absolutely removes the panic. You can stay calm. You're still in a crisis. Things are still hard, but at least you know where you're at with it. The next one is you might need to adapt your strategy, but not your vision. People think that we wake up in the morning as entrepreneurs, we wake up in the morning, we have a vision, we have a plan, and we stick to it. And that is absolutely so untrue, even in calm and quiet times. You are, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, you are constantly adapting. For anything that you do, as humans, we are constantly adapting. What stays consistent is the direction that we're heading in, absolutely. What stays consistent is the belief that we have in ourselves and where it's going to end up as well, where we're going to absolutely emerge from the end of this. So constant adaptation, constant iteration when we're in a new situation is absolutely normal. If your goal, for instance, is financial independence or building a profitable business or creating some sort of freedom in your life, your strategy is going to constantly evolve. It just is. Your pricing will change, your marketing will change, your revenue models will change. It's not a failure to change your strategy. It is absolutely intelligent adaptation. It is the reason I do what I do. My whole life is around the concept of needing to adapt your strategy. And the only real mistake you make is actually abandoning the whole project entirely, the whole thing entirely, because then what a waste. And then the final one is move forward with smaller bets. When the conditions are uncertain, you don't need to make giant leaps. Make smarter, smaller moves. Instead of launching a huge new product, test a pilot, get a little bit more happening. Instead of quitting everything, build the next revenue stream. Instead of investing everything at once, stage your decisions, because that way you've got momentum without catastrophic risk. And momentum is really important, particularly psychologically, because any sort of progress is going to build your confidence. It's going to make you feel good about the decision that you've just made, but also it gives you the small wins that you need on the way. Because if we go without the small wins, then it's really hard to keep that momentum. So take the risk, jump in, do it anyway, my friend Tracy would say. And if you found that useful, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us for more. Everything we talk about on this channel is for educational purposes only and does not constitute individual financial advice. If you want advice, go and see an advisor.